Now, Scott Walker, of course, had taken away the ability of doing collective bargaining for unions, right? And that was a huge blow up in Wisconsin. And there was a recall effort, but he survived that, and there was a lot of protests. But he wouldn't really abuse that, right? I mean, once they crush the unions, they're not going to do anything crazy, right? You're not paying attention, are you, if you think that? So here it comes. Reported by Raw Story. A pair of Republican legislators in Wisconsin are circulating a draft of a bill that would allow a 7-day work week for the state's workers. I love the phrasing of that. It would allow for a 7-day work week. Yeah, because workers can't wait to work 7 days. And they say, no, this is a workers' rights issue. They say, the Raw Story continues. According to Stephen Point's Journal newspaper, the two lawmakers are floating the bill on behalf of the state's largest anti-union business lobby, Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce. Huh! Who would have figured? Okay. Now, is this on behalf of the workers? Of course it's not. It's on behalf of the guys that are driving the workers into the ground. Look, Ben Mankiewicz co-hosts this show, and his father, Frank Mankiewicz, had a great line about unions. It was unions. They brought you the weekends, right? And it turns out, well, first of all, historically, of course he's right. That's exactly what happened, right? And it turns out when you take away the unions, there goes your weekends. And they frame this like, oh, we're just trying to give them an option. If they voluntarily want to work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, well, I'm just trying to help them. No, they're not. You think they're not going to go in there and go, well, I guess you could take Sunday off, but we would note it in your record. You think they're not going to do that? That's exactly what they used to do when we used to have a 7-day week. And that was before we had reforms and progress and unions, etc. Look, unions can sometimes go overboard, etc., right? That isn't the point. The point is you need some organization that allows the workers to get together so they could have at least be on somewhat of an equal footing with the employers. If you don't have that, the employer can just pick you off one by one. Oh, you don't want to work 7 days a week? Boom, you're gone. You're fired. Who's next? That's an unbalanced playing field, and exactly the kind of playing field that Republicans and their donors love. When asked to name a single business, forget employees, a single business that agreed with this plan outside of the Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce, they couldn't name one, okay? So it's this one business group that wants to drive the workers into the ground that's pushing this. And of course, Republicans in Wisconsin say, you tell me to jump, I ask you how high. Now, David Reardon, who's a protester, put it exactly right. He said, even God said, rest on the seventh day. I mean, they're not going to let, he's the Secretary Treasurer for the Teamsters Local 662, by the way. They're not even going to let you go to church on Sunday. This is the party of family values and morality. How much family values can you have if you can't even see your family?